Hello and welcome to the frame by frame animation video. What we're going to do here is a little bit different. We are going to be doing what's called a frame by frame animation. And the idea behind a frame by frame animation is sort of contrary to what we've been doing with the motion tweens. With the motion tweens, we've been creating a graphic and then stating via keyframes and frames, and in the first few exercises, the frame 1 and the frame 60, where something should be in your simple properties exercise, we changed the rotation of that symbol, in that case a graphic, and the computer, Flash, made up those in-between frames. Remember that tween stands for in-between. What we're going to be doing here is what's called frame-by-frame animation, and the idea behind frame-by-frame animation is that we are drawing the specific sort of frames that are going to denote a simple in this case, action, which is going to be a jumping jack. So this is going to be coming handy when we want more, I guess, complex movements, potentially of human figures. And it's sort of going to introduce the idea of how we're going to be using a movie clip, which is going to be, I think, next week or the week after, where we are animating inside the library and then using that animation to become more efficient and create more complex animations just by changing the properties of that animation. Do not worry about that for now, but concentrate on what it means to make this frame-by-frame animation. Okay, so I've skipped ahead a little bit. I'm on step 4, which is choose the brush tool. Our brush tool lives right here. Again, your tools might look a little bit different. We can change the brush size right here. So I'm going to choose a mid-sized brush. You can change the brush shape. I just want sort of a circular shape. It says on step 5, set the stroke color to none and the fill color to black. Again, stroke color is none and the fill color to black. This basically means that we're drawing with a black brush. Step 7, it says draw a stick figure face and torso directly on the stage while leaving room for arm and legs. Okay, so this is a very simple exercise, and you'll see let's do a simple face and torso. Okay, so this guy is going to sort of be the basis for which we create all the other animations. Okay, so it says insert a keyframe via a control click at frames number 5, 10, and 15. Not a blank keyframe, but a keyframe. Okay, so the idea being, so I'm going to control click, and I'm going to insert a keyframe at 5. I'm going to insert a keyframe at 10, and I'm going to insert a keyframe at 15. Now, what we've done is we've basically copied over 1, 2, 3 versions of this head and torso. Okay, the idea being that we want to sort of utilize the same drawing and be efficient about what we're doing on each of these steps. This will make sense as we sort of move forward. Okay, it says step 9. Insert a key, or sorry, click on the frame number 1 where there should be a keyframe. That was our first version of this thing, and it's where we originally drew it. And it says choose your brush tool and draw arms and legs in the standing position. If we think about a jumping jack, let's just sort of think about the beginnings of a simple jumping jack. That might be a guy with his arms down and legs sort of in a normal stance. Okay. Then it says step 11, click on frame number 5 where there's another keyframe, and we simply want to draw the next stage. Okay. So it says choose the brush tool and draw the arms and legs and moving midway up the body. This, and then there's going to be 4 steps to this jumping jack. So if you can think about 4 different steps, you can sort of draw the legs and arms appropriately. Okay, so jumping jack is beginning. Okay, if you want to at this point, you can sort of see by moving your playhead back and forth where you are in that stage. Okay, it says repeat for keyframes 10 and 15, with frame 15 ending with your arms above the head and legs outstretched. Okay, so let's do our best. This is sort of step 3. I'm not being horribly careful, but Okay, I can sort of see that he's moving. Okay, and the last one, let's make it so that the arms are all the way up. Okay, so we can see the motion that's sort of happening there. Okay, now we are now at step 14, where it says go to frame 20 and control click and insert a blank keyframe. Now what I'm sort of teaching you here is sort of about efficiency. Instead of inserting another frame and sort of drawing that thing, let's think about what this motion is. This motion is an up and then a down. We sort of have all of the stages actually drawn already through these 4 steps. Okay. The idea being that we can copy the other steps to sort of finish this jumping jack off. You're going to see me sort of talking about efficiencies and ways to work efficiently and using things you already have to create animations. Why sort of do the work of drawing that all over again when you already have, if you think about a jumping jack going down, sorry, up, and then it's going to go down, we sort of have the next stage. Okay, so that's where we're at step 15. And it says click on frame 10 and then choose edit select all. So we're going to select all of that. And then step 17, edit copy. And then go back to that frame 20. And it said which should make the stage appear blank. We inserted a blank keyframe. So it's a keyframe, but it's blank. There's nothing in it. And then it says choose edit paste in place. Now this is a little bit different than paste. Paste in place places it exactly where it was pasted from. Okay, so we're going up, all the way up, and then we're going back down. Okay, the sort of rest of the steps, and I'm going to briefly sort of stop the video and just sort of finish this off, and then talk about a couple little things. The rest of this video is basically, or the rest of the steps are basically sort of copying and pasting in place the numbers that are sort of associated with each of these steps in the jumping jack. Okay, so it says step 19, go to frame 25, insert the blank keyframe, click on frame 5, and hit and select all, copy, and paste that down. So I'm going to quickly do that and come back. Okay, I've set up basically right at the end here. So I have sort of jumping jack down stage, middle, up, all the way up, back down to sort of midway. And the last little step here, which is step 23, and it says go to frame 25 and choose edit paste in place, which I have done that. And then it says insert a keyframe at frame 30. We simply need to extend out the last portion of this jumping jack. Now it gets a little tricky here. What is going to happen, and you should know this in terms of how Flash wants to, as I say, go, go, go. We're basically going all the way up, down. Okay, we get here, and when we get to here, the playhead is going to go directly back to this stage, meaning this beginning stage, which we know is the arms down. Okay, and that's going to last for 5 frames. So we don't need to extend out basically that last portion of the jumping jack. Okay, so I'm going to do a file save as, my first name, last name, underscore, frame by frame. Can't reiterate enough, we're saving the FLA files, and then we are simply testing this movie. Let's take a look. So we have our little guy doing a jumping jack. Okay. Now, this was sort of quick, fast, not horribly exciting in terms of the expression, any sort of introduction of a character. Feel free to draw your people in any way you sort of want to sort of elaborate on the sort of aesthetic or visual aspects of this, but the idea is to sort of understand how this frame-by-frame animation works. Now, last thing I'll say is this might be something we're going to sort of see, and we're definitely going to see when we get to movie clips, where we can make this animation and then use it in different ways, meaning that I could bring it over into the library and make 10 different copies of it. I could change the color, I could rotate it, I could change the size, I could do all sorts of things to it simply by using one version of this thing that we've done, and making sure we change it in such a way that you can take advantage of this work that you've done. One last thing I'll note, and I'll sort of go here. I'm going to click on frame 10, and this isn't in the step-by-step, it's just something you should know about. Down here at the bottom are these little buttons, and one is called onion skin. And if I click on that onion skin, what you'll see is remnants of the past frames, and you can see the brackets around this area. So if I move this around, those brackets sort of show me a vague kind of gray outline of where I've come from. When you're drawing something like a jumping jack, it might be helpful to sort of be able to see a particular amount of frames, meaning the ones either before you've done what you're about to do or after. For something like the jumping jack, it sort of indicates, have I moved the arms up too quickly or too slowly, so it's not going to look right. So you'll notice that as I move this playhead around, you can see that what's called onion skinning around that. You can also adjust how far it goes back. I can see many different steps if I want to, but for the most part, it's going to default to 4 or 5 frames here. We can tidy that up simply by grabbing it and pulling it, but it's always going to show you at least a few frames. Onion skinning is very, very helpful when you go to doing what's called frame-by-frame animation. Again, any questions, concerns, please email me. Again, please make sure you hand in your SWIFTs. We have the 2 exercises this week, as well as a animation viewing by an artist named Lars Arnhus, who made a very, very simple, but at the same time very, very complex video called The Street. So please do the 2 exercises, and please finish the animation viewing called The Street.